Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hardcore Cottagecore Let's Play. Since the last episode, I have really been AFKing quite a lot to get all of this copper aged down, and it's looking so much better than when we last left it. But it did take a lot of AFK time, just so much waiting for this, and a couple of interesting things occurred while I was waiting over in that little village hut over there, actually. And one of them is that some skeleton horses spawned, so I was actually able to catch them before they despawned, which I don't know how long that takes, but I was able to get 4 of them, and they've all kind of been hanging out here for a little while. So today I was thinking that it would be cool that even though we have other modes of transportation with this giant pile of donkeys, I think that the skeleton horses also deserve a lovely home, so I'm thinking about making them a barn. I also did some mining while I was waiting for the copper to age down. I was just looking for some cobbled deep slate down in the mineshaft area, or actually I guess below it, technically down here. And of course there's a massive deep dark biome down on this side, so I was digging along over here in this tunnel. I hit quite a few caves along the way, and one of them led me into this room that actually has a skeleton spawner, which I haven't fully cleared out, so it's still a little bit scary in there. But this thing would be so good for getting automatic bone meal. I do have my moss farms, but those aren't really meant for that exactly. So it's really handy too where this thing's located because it's right underneath like the hillside up there by the lake in my area. Of course I took the coordinates and the skeleton spawner is in that area over there. So I was thinking that this flat area of land over here would be a great place to build a barn that might also have potentially an access point to a bone meal farm down there. So that's going to be our main goal for today. I don't know if we'll get to the actual skeleton farm, but I definitely want to build the barn for the horses. But there's also been another development with our livestock. You've probably forgotten about the donkeys that I keep over here, but I haven't because I've been breeding them up constantly, and I've gotten them to the point where they're actually a little bit faster than my horse. The kelp, of course, if you remember, is what we used to time this thing with. So I've gotten my fastest donkey so far. I haven't tested the new little guy yet, but I know that one of the parents... Oh my gosh, and now I'm stuck. This happens all the time, and I should fix it, but I haven't. Anyways, one of the parents, I'm pretty sure it's this guy with the saddle, he is 34 kelp of speed, whereas my horse is 37. So I'm thinking, after we figure out how fast the other baby is, we can actually kind of replace our horse today, which is a little bit sad because I've had that horse for so long, but I think it'll be worth it to have a really fast donkey that I can also store stuff in. So yeah, I guess I just need to go ahead and actually tame this guy. And you can actually tell even from just riding them how fast they are compared to regular donkeys. Especially in this tiny little barn, they zoom around so quickly. But anyways, this guy seems to be pretty fast. Sometimes they're just about the same as their parents, but I think this guy is pretty promising. Oh, 36 kelp. Well, it's not the fastest. Sometimes I test them twice if I don't believe the result. Oh, well that time it was 35. You know what, that's a little bit better. Again, this thing isn't super accurate. It's just kind of something that works generally to get them a little bit faster, but it's not super refined. However, since this guy isn't really faster, I think I will still keep him because he's still faster than my horse. Oh, and I should test his jump as well. The highest jump I've gotten so far is 3 blocks, but it's also not what I've been testing them for, so they aren't super good at that yet. But you know what, he'll do for now. I'm still definitely gonna keep breeding these guys up to get a super fast donkey, but it's still a big milestone that we've passed the speed of our horse. It's also gonna be so helpful in the aspect of the storage, because as I've been building bigger and bigger things, I've been running out of storage so easily in my inventory. But yeah, now that we have this guy, this will help a little bit. I know it's not a lot, but sometimes just a couple of extra spaces really helps. Oh, and also back to the skeleton horses, we have so many extra donkeys that are all decently fast donkeys, and they've kind of just been hanging out here, so maybe if I have room in the barn, I don't know how big exactly it's gonna be, but there's so much space over yonder that I could probably bring a few of these guys over there as well, so they're not just sitting randomly here in the entrance to the village. But I've also just been thinking about plans for my area, and I've got so many ideas today that I want to work on the farmland over here a little bit. Especially along this pathway leading up to the village. There was going to be buildings here, I was thinking at first, and there still might be, but I think I want to cover at least some of it in farmland and maybe some flowers. Since, I mean, we do have a greenhouse that doesn't actually produce flowers, but I do have plenty of bones from killing all of those skeletons at that spawner down there, so I think if we grow up a few of these tall flowers and maybe some other ones as well, it would just be really nice to have a whole field of flowers and crops and things along here. I suppose I should really start with the beetroot field. It's been a long time in this world and I still haven't done anything with these since I got them. So I guess maybe if we connect this path up over along here to the main one, we could have just like a smaller diagonal kind of field going along this edge over here. My gosh, and I didn't realize how many seeds you get per beetroot plant. I mean, I only harvested 3 and I got 11 seeds back. I feel like that's a way better rate than carrots or potatoes or anything. But anyways, I can go in and get some water from this random water source I've still got down there. Quite literally just hidden in the floor. Okay, well, it's a little small, and it's not finished, but I think that's a big improvement from what we had earlier. I might even expand it a little ways this way, but honestly, I don't think I'm gonna need more beetroot than this. It's really just more for the looks of it. The main thing I really did want to do today was actually put a bunch of flowers around. The beetroot kind of just got lumped in there with it. So yeah, I'll turn all of my bones into some bone meal, and I'll ride my new trusty steed all the way back to the greenhouse, where I can do so much duplicating of all of the flowers. Oh, and this is a little awkward. I came back to my house to get some flowers, and I don't really have a place. Oh gosh, now I'm stuck. I don't really have a place for my horse yet. I could put him in the pen of all of the donkeys, but I feel a little bad. So he's kind of been hanging out in the horse hole by my house, which isn't much better, I suppose. Maybe he can also go live in our fancy new barn that we make for the skeleton horses. But yeah, I came over here to look through all of the plants that I have. And I don't really know how many different fields I'm gonna make, but I think having a few of the basic flowers to start will be okay. Really just the ones that I can bone meal around anywhere, like the dandelions and the poppies and stuff. I think I'll start off here with a very, very bold field of some rose bushes. Just going in like a generally diagonal line towards the pathway here. And then maybe after that I'll do some daisies to kind of add a little bit of neutral color in here. They do have a small amount of yellow, but definitely not as bold next to the rose bushes. Then I guess I'll do a very small, thin line of these cornflowers, because I only have like 10 of them. But next to them I'll do some sunflowers, which I guess are going to choose to face that way, which I guess I kind of already knew, but forgot about, so unless maybe I could always do them on the other side of the path. Yeah, that's a little bit better, right? I also think I'm gonna separate these flowers, I guess, using just a couple of leaves to create a little bit of a border. Okay, I know it's a lot of color, but I think it really helps the area look less bland from here all the way to the village. I mean, we've got all of our lovely crop fields over here that I think the flowers really just extend that type of vibe over here against the empty plains. And eventually, hopefully, I'll get some more. I could get some sniffer flowers, which are kind of hard to obtain, but I suppose there are also like some different kinds of flowers in the valley and stuff over there as well, or meadow, I think it's called. But either way, there's plenty more foliage for us to collect eventually. But this is definitely a very good start to the vibe that I want over here. But yeah, distractions aside, I think that we can start working on the barn for our skeleton horses. The first and most abundant thing that I need for this is a whole bunch of spruce wood. Unfortunately, I haven't been very good about actually collecting the saplings from my spruce trees, and I think it's because I've for some reason kept farming them on this awkward spot for the entire series. And it was originally because it was so close to my house, but now it's just in this weird little spot surrounded by other trees and also next to this giant ravine that sometimes things fall into. So I think I'm going to try to get as many saplings as I possibly can from this tree. And then I think I'm going to move it onto the stony shore where I've been farming all of my other trees, because that would also help with getting rid of all of the podzol that spreads everywhere. Not that it really looks bad in this area because it kind of matches the forest, but having too much of it would just kind of ruin the whole thing. And excuse me, what the heck are you doing here? Where did you even come from? What the heck? Oh, probably this thing that I still haven't covered up. Anyways, I'm sure that's completely fine. I'm actually so desperate for saplings that I think I'm going to use my Fortune 3 pickaxe on these leaves. I don't know if that actually helps. I'm pretty sure it does work on leaves, or at least that's kind of what I've been telling myself. Okay, well that gave us 13 saplings, so I guess it does work, at least a little bit. So now I'll safely relocate this just over here. There's really not a whole lot else going on this stony shore, but ideally in the future I'm going to change this so that there aren't just random variants of trees over here, because I mean it looks a little bit out of place compared to the rest of our area. I don't know, maybe I need to hide like a tree farming area in the middle of the forest somewhere where it's just like out of sight, out of mind. But yeah, while I'm waiting for that spruce tree to grow, I am finally gonna cover up this giant cave. Because obviously random mobs have been coming out of here for a long time, and it's probably finally time that I actually do something about that. I've also fallen here with my horse quite a few times while traveling to the village, so you know what, this is just a good move all around, I think. I suppose I should also take care of a little bit of this podzol that's around. This will make it so that I have some for decorating, and also I don't think that we need this giant patch of podzol in this spot. I mean, maybe just a little bit along the path, but definitely not this amount. And you know what, since I'm on such a roll today, I will also just go ahead and fill in this ravine as well, because the fewer dangerous holes that I have around this area, the better, especially since I seem to be prone to falling into them all of the time. Okay, I think this area is looking a lot better than when I started, and it'll look even better once all of the grass actually fills in here. And while we've been doing that, our first spruce tree has finally grown. Spruce wood is definitely what I'll be needing most of today, but luckily it's an easy enough resource to gather, so this shouldn't take that much time at all. Okay, I've gathered all of the bulk spruce items that I'll need, and I do need a little bit of dark oak. I have been taking bits off of this tree when I need random little pieces, so there isn't a lot to this one. I also am going to need a lot of stripped pale oak logs for this to bring in the white colors. The problem is I only have the regular boring unstripped pale oak logs, so I will need to go ahead and place all of these back down to strip a few of them. Not only just for the logs, but for some shelves as well. Oh, and I guess this is the first time that I've actually stripped a pale oak log. I could have sworn I had done that before, but maybe not. It is a little bit of a difficult color to work with, so I guess that makes sense. Along with the bright white color of the pale oak logs, I'm also going to use a lot of the planks. And now that I've got a lot of the bulk items, I can use our donkey to actually just chuck all of them in here. Already that's proving to be very useful. Let's see, I also need some birch wood, which I do have some in storage, but I'll need to chop down a couple trees just to get a little bit extra. Most of this is actually also going to be going into shelves, probably unsurprisingly, so I need to actually just strip a bunch of these logs as I'm chopping them down. For some reason though, I do actually have a lot of birch saplings on hand, so at least I'm able to easily replant all of these guys. Okay, the last wooden item that I need is a bunch of jungle wood, and that is where we might be in a little bit of trouble. I need a whole bunch of unstripped logs, and we don't have a lot of saplings left over. I don't even think I have a jungle tree out in this random mismatched forest out here, so I think I'm just gonna do the same thing that I did with the spruce tree, and just plant a random one out here on the stony shore, and hope that it drops enough saplings where I can replenish it. I always forget how majestic jungle trees look. Oh my goodness, I even covered up the ravine and there's still guys out here. Oh my gosh, that's so much fire. That dude must have just run out of the forest or something. Or maybe, I guess, under this little thing over here, but that doesn't feel like enough space for a zombie to spawn. You know what, I think I'm also gonna collect some vines while I'm here, just because they're a hard enough resource to get and there are so many on this tree. Well, now that we've got all of the wooden materials out of the way, one other thing that I need is some quartz. That of course is going to be in the village, and I really think that now that we have the flowers around here, the ride over is much more pleasant. But anyways, I'll trade some pumpkins to get a little bit of cash to buy some quartz, because I'm definitely not going into the nether for that stuff. I think one of the guys in the pottery shop probably sells quartz. I know I only leveled most of them up to the terracotta trade. Oh yes, but this guy, my favorite guy with the good colors of terracotta, he has some quartz pillars that I can buy, although I will need more than 12, so maybe, let's see, what else should I buy? You know what, I guess some dripstone can always be helpful, to buy a whole bunch more quartz from him. There we go, that's much easier than going to the nether. The second to last item I'm going to need to gather for this project is some mud, because I need so much of it, and also the water bottle sounds are just absolutely outrageous. I think I'm gonna go ahead and jump into a time lapse for this. Okay, so now I have gotten all of the materials that I need, except for probably the most important one, which is some bone blocks. Unfortunately, I used up all of my bone meal prematurely on making all of those flowers earlier, so I will have to go back down and hunt some skeletons, I think. I could always run my moss farm, but it feels like if we're gonna make a barn for our skeleton horses, we should be doing something with skeletons today. And I don't really know what I'm gonna do for the entrance yet. The coordinates put us kind of in the water a little bit, so I don't want to make a bubble column going down there because that would be a little bit difficult. So it might end up being a very giant staircase. The only problem is that it goes way down to the very bottom of the world, like almost to bedrock. So that's going to be quite a task in itself, and it might be a next episode thing, I'm not going to lie. So I think right now, instead of making an actual farm, I am just going to hit their toes, I think, from here. And it's not too dangerous. I just need to make sure that I can actually get most of the loot that I get from them. Oh, and actually I haven't even checked the chests that are in here. Okay, we've got 2 enchanted books, Luck of the Sea 2 and Piercing 4. I don't think that I have any use for either of those, really. There is a decent amount of string in that chest, though. Oh my gosh, and 2 skeletons are fighting each other. There's also another chest over there that I'm just tempted enough to go see what it is, in the absolute most cowardly way possible. Let's see, oh, a Loyalty 1 book, some bones, and some diamond horse armor, which is kind of a shame because I've just switched over to riding a donkey today. And if my calculations are correct, I think I need almost 5 stacks of bone meal, so we might be doing this chicken method of skeleton hunting for quite a while. I've also just done the math, and that equates to 102 bones, which actually isn't as bad as I thought it would be. Oh my gosh, I love it when they fight each other. It usually means I don't get the loot because they're so far away, but it is entertaining to watch. That is, if you guys can even see that. I know it's kind of dark in here. There are actually so many bones on the ground, I think I'm just gonna go for it. Hopefully nothing spawns. Okay, we're good. Oh my gosh, that was a close call though. Not that I don't think I could take 1 skeleton, but it's still a little bit nerve-wracking. Okay, I've decided this would go a lot faster with a looting sword, so I'm gonna roll the dice a couple times on this to see if I can get the level 30 enchantment, even though I only started out with 32 levels. And it's not looking good for us. These are terrible enchantments, what the heck? Oh my gosh, I keep getting Bane of Arthropods 4 and Fire Aspect 2 as a level 30 enchantment, I mean, come on. Okay, I've officially used up all of my levels and I can't even get the lowest one anymore. Which is unbelievable, I haven't seen that many bad enchantments in so long. I've been trying to enchant this sword for a long time as well. I think it might be cursed or something. Well, anyways, back to it. At least I can regain some levels this way. Okay, 2 skeletons are fighting, but I think that I've got all of the bones that I'll need for today. And even a little bit extra, so I think that I'm gonna just shut this spawner off for now. Because I don't really need it to be running anymore until I make a proper farm for it. Yeah, I guess before I go, I should actually make the bone blocks just to make sure that I have enough. Let's see, get ready for so much bone meal. And it does seem like we've got enough, so we can finally get the heck out of here. Not that this isn't a totally lovely place to be, but I did miss seeing the light of day. And even though we won't be riding our horse anymore, I think he still deserves to upgrade to the diamond horse armor instead of the copper. Because, I mean, he still looks good in it. And I actually don't know, maybe you can put horse armor on skeleton horses. Oh, I guess you can't. Maybe actually I could put it on this guy. This random decorative horse that's been towing this cart for a while. Kind of matches the wheels a little bit, right? Anyways, now I think it's time that we finally head over to our build site over there so we can give these guys a home. I know they updated it recently so that horses can swim, and I'm assuming that also applies to donkeys. I could easily walk around, but I'm choosing to just live dangerously. Oh yeah, they can. I mean, it's a little bit slow, but they can still swim. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of terraforming to this area, because I think the barn will sit kind of closer to the hillside. That way we have plenty of space over here for some fenced-in areas for the horses to roam around in. But I did actually kind of plan ahead a little bit, and I brought a fence and a lead so we can tie our donkey up. That way we'll have access to all of the stuff in here too. But yeah, our main wall of this thing is going to be white, like I said, and it's going to be a mixture of all of these blocks, because they kind of make a little bit of a gradient. Although technically I think if it was a proper gradient, the birch would be maybe on that side, and it looks a little bit more smooth. But I really just like how there's a little hint of purple in the birch that really matches the pale oak, and then the quartz and the bone blocks also have a lot of similar colors. So I think it's all gonna just flow really nicely in here. And then the roof is gonna be spruce wood with a bit of jungle for some darker color. And then maybe at the very, very bottom, I got the dark oak so that we would have even more of a shadow on the very bottom, just because using spruce for the whole thing is gonna look very, very flat. And I think with the white, it needs something a little bit darker to balance it out almost. So yeah, that's like the main idea for it. So let's get to building it and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so here we have it, the skeleton barn. Not completely finished yet, I still have a lot that I want to do to this thing, but I did make a lot of progress in that time lapse. I decided to do the whole fenced-in area on this side just because it's kind of repetitive and just a whole lot of fence placing. It will give the skeleton horses a lot of room to roam around, like way more than I gave my original farm animals over there, I think. But it'll be good, it looks very, very empty with my lone donkey just standing in the middle. But we'll bring the skeleton horses over as soon as we finish the interior, which still, of course, needs a lot of work. The first thing that I should probably do is actually add some light sources around here. I went ahead and bought some lanterns from my librarians, and I made some chains out of our iron. So we have a couple of those that we can use. Although actually I think that chain is going to be problematic right there, because I haven't added the barn doors on quite yet. I'm going to do the same thing that I've done for literally every barn door that I've built in this world so far, and just use a lot of shelves. On the back here you can see I tried 2 different options and I was kind of torn on which one to use, so I let it sit for a little bit. And I think that the pale oak one blends in a little bit too much with the wall, since we literally use the logs a lot in it. So having the birch keeps kind of the similar vibe to it without changing the color too much, but just enough so that it pops out just a little bit. So yeah, I just need to tear this one down and go ahead and put a birch one in its place. Very, very delicately because I get things stuck in the shelves quite a lot. And let's see, they're 4 blocks tall, so we should at least be able to put a lantern. Well, maybe not even there. You know what, I guess this door can be partially closed. That way I can leave that there. I do want to leave at least 2 blocks in the doorway so I can actually ride horses in here. So this one is going to be open and unfortunately cover up this window that I have. But I think I'll leave it there just because the other side has one and I want it to be pretty symmetrical still. So yeah, I'd say that's pretty good for a doorway. Now in here, I'm going to try to make it look as much like a horse stable as I possibly can to make it distinguished from every other barn that I've built. And so in horse stables, I'm pretty sure, they have like higher doorways so that the horses can't jump them, or at least I assume that's what they're for. So I'll do something like this on each doorway in here, and then I'll make sure that there's enough of a roof that they can't really get out. Not that they would be able to jump these blocks anyways in the game, but I'll also put some slabs on top of these dividers, I think, to make them just a little bit taller, because otherwise the horses actually would be able to walk over that one block. So if I just do that, I think that still gives them ample space to live in here. I know the ones in these stalls that don't have fences really going outside will not have a lot of room, but that's okay. I mean, skeleton horses are undead, right? So they don't really need like roaming areas, right? At least I hope not. Now for the beams going across here, I'm going to do a similar thing that I did on the outside to make it look very like triangular, I guess, to connect it to here, and I'll just exactly mirror it on both sides, just using a stair and a fence gate. And then on top of these, so it's not too thick, I'm just going to use a lot of trapdoors, greatly at my expense because there's going to be a lot of these that go in here. So to save myself from some of that, I'm going to use some slabs for the fronts, because that'll give the beams a little bit of variation in here instead of looking exactly like a grid pattern. This is looking good so far, but I think for this like hayloft area, I want to do something a little bit different so it's actually functioning kind of like a hayloft by just having a couple of slabs in here and then some stairs, so you could theoretically traverse this even though it's a little bit difficult. And then to let the light through, I'll use some oak trap doors where it's covered here, but I think only these first 2 sections I'm going to cover, just because horses are tall and I don't want them to have too short of a roof over their heads. But there will be 2 unlucky souls that get stuck in these 2 areas, but that's okay, it's for the greater good. Okay, so now we've got some stalls in here, but the real challenge is going to be figuring out how to put lighting in this place. That's something I really didn't think about when I was actually building this, so now it's kind of come back to bite me. I guess all I really need is a good solid block that isn't on a half slab to just put some chains and some lanterns on, if I can find them. I mean, I suppose I could just do them in the center of their stalls like this. I mean, that's not terrible. Maybe not one in every single stall, because that would be kind of a lot. Although I could just hang them straight from the trapdoors. But yeah, maybe one in this stall and then one in that stall. So I'll actually take this one down. Alright, well that's used up all of my chains that I made, but it should be pretty light in here now. I think I am going to make one small adjustment and do a few more fence gates, again like I did out here, to just make these corners a little bit less harsh. It's hard to get that triangle crossbeam kind of shape in Minecraft, so this is the closest I think we can get. And I think it just adds a little bit more detail in here. It might be a little bit crazy, it's a lot on the eyes, but I think it's okay. Now the last thing that I'm going to do before I bring the horses in is make the floor a little bit, well I was going to say prettier, but not prettier. I guess make the floor a little bit dirtier. And I've got an assortment of blocks here, but I think I also want to use some hay bales in the floor, because there's always straw and stuff laid around barns. So I'll head back over to the mainland and harvest plenty of wheat to use for decoration. I'm also going to fix any spots that have been trampled by animals or mobs randomly along the way. Oh my gosh, and that only made 12 hay bales. Alright, well back at it I go then. I'd like to get, ideally, like half a stack, if I could. That way I can actually put some in the hayloft. Okay, I have harvested all of my wheat field and gotten 29 hay bales, which we'll have to do. I'll start by putting them in the actual hayloft. Oh, which I guess might not happen. I suppose I could put them... Never mind, not there either. I haven't planned this out very well, have I? Okay, maybe there won't be anything up here. Maybe the horses are going through a little bit of a famine right now. Everything's totally fine, though. But actually, you know what? They're skeleton horses, so they don't even need food. I did that on purpose, you know, for the lore's sake. Anyways, I'll just tear out all of the floor in here. Maybe I should have actually put the doors in last. Well, I think this should do for a floor in here. And now I think we're ready to finally bring the skeleton horses in. I can also probably unleash my donkey. I suppose he could have been roaming around free in here, now that I think about it. He didn't really need to be tied up within an enclosed space, but it's fine. Let's see, can he jump this? Oh, he can! What a good donkey. You know what, I might actually try to put you in a boat. Or maybe not, maybe donkeys can't go in boats. Maybe you actually just stay in here. Boats might be a better mode of transportation for this anyways. Hey guys, I know you've been waiting for a very, very long time. Hang on, I don't have any saddles, so I'm gonna have to kind of pull you out of here. Lovingly, of course. I just really did not want to unleash my giant horde of donkeys upon the world. But yeah, now I can get all of you guys on one lead, and hopefully transport you over there easily enough. My gosh, I forgot how weird looking skeleton horses are. I mean, no offense, but it's quite a vibe shift, having the flower field and then dragging these guys through it. Oh wait, actually don't get stuck in the sheep pen, please. Gosh, this might not have been the best path to take them on. It's alright though, we made it. I think, oh, never mind. I was gonna say I thought that I covered up all of the dangerous holes, but I guess we found one. Now though, we should be home free. I'm gonna get in the boat, and I think I should be able to just drag you guys along with me, right? Oh my gosh, I forgot that they sink. That's so creepy. What the heck is that? Oh my gosh, look at them down there. What am I supposed to do with that? Will you guys just come back up with me? Yeah, there you go. Everybody's okay. Everything's fine. Alright, I forgot that was a thing that they did, but we made it. Oh my gosh, we lost one at the last second. Come back here, please. Do not go back into the water. Okay, I'm going to try to get you guys in separate pens. I'm pretty sure I have a saddle, oh yes, stored in the donkey. So I'll go ahead and shear you off one by one from this giant mess of leads. And I'm pretty sure you can't breed skeleton horses, so I will only have 4 roaming around in this giant field. So that means that I guess it doesn't really matter which one of you goes in which pen, because you'll all kind of just be out here together. So yeah, I guess everybody come over here. You'll like it, I promise. Last one, there you go. Okay, you guys should be happy here, right? It's very lush and green, which I don't know if that suits your vibe, but I mean, you would have just been wandering around in the village otherwise. I do have some saplings on me that I guess I could plant around here on the other side to give a nice little backdrop to our barn. And you know what, I'm feeling particularly bold, so I think that I'm actually gonna stay up tonight, because they did add zombie horses into survival Minecraft in the last update, and that would kind of be a cool thing to get. Especially because I could put them in here and I wouldn't even have to have any armor on them, because they do burn in the sunlight, which is a little bit sad, but I suppose if I wanted to have one, I could just put armor on him. But yeah, it could be fun to just hang out on this roof and kind of just see if one spawns, because I think it's this biome that they will spawn in if they do. You know what, maybe I'll even be bolder and just go ahead and pile up in the middle of the field. That way there aren't any spawns on the stony shore or in the water or anything. I can also easily thin out guys by just shooting them from here. Oh my gosh, I got an advancement for something? What the heck? Kill a skeleton from at least 50 meters away. I didn't even know that was a thing. Well, at least we got something out of this, because the sun has officially risen and I haven't gotten a single zombie horse. I suppose I could try again tonight and see if that happens. I did see, I think that there's a creeper somewhere in this pen. Unless of course he despawned, but I did see one. I didn't light up this pen at all. Maybe he did despawn though. I don't see him. And if I don't see him, I'm sure that he does not exist. But yeah, our skeleton horses seem to be enjoying themselves, and I might as well kill time until the next night by doing a little bit more interior decorating. It's really nothing too crazy, I just wanted to maybe make a couple of troughs in here for some food or water or something. I guess they kind of fit in here, maybe I won't do one in every single one. Well, I don't know, it still leaves plenty of room for them, I think. Because we've got one full block on this row here that doesn't really do anything. Doesn't have a lot going on, so I guess I might as well. This will also be a good way to have an infinite water source up here. Not that we're far away from the water, but it's just nice not to have to climb all the way down there if I ever do need any. Okay, they've all got water in their stalls now, and I guess the last things that I need to do are really just decorative. Just adding a little bit more to the pathway. I think I'll curve it along here, going over in this direction, and eventually it'll go all the way to the village, I guess. Oh my gosh, it's thunderstorming. That's a little bit ominous. I wonder, I bet mobs spawn during a thunderstorm. Who knows, I might even get more skeleton horses. I will give myself a little bit of a roof this time though, so that I don't get struck by lightning. Oh my gosh, well there is a guy with a spear. I wish you had a horse with you though. You're not really the part that I wanted. You're also a lot more aggressive than the horse is. Another guy with a spear. Hey buddy. None of you wanted to ride any horses, huh? I mean, I'll try not to be mad about that, but I am disappointed. Another sunrise and still no zombie horse. Can't believe it, I've taken out so many mobs. I mean, it is still just regular raining. I don't think any new guys will spawn, but maybe if I run around, there'll be a zombie horse somewhere. My hopes are not high, but it's worth just running around and collecting all of the XP and stuff. I should also do a mob check in my barn to make sure there's no creepers or anything hiding in here. Oh, there is a dog though. What the heck? Okay then. It's very random, but not a creeper, so it's fine. I guess I'll just continue a bit of work on the path. And I think I'll bring in some flowers and things as well. Just a few dandelions scattered along here. I also brought some crates and things that I thought could be scattered around. I know it's silly, but I keep seeing the skeleton horses out of the corner of my eye and thinking it's an actual skeleton. I'm almost jump scaring myself by just having these guys here, but I'll get used to it. Oh, and the dog got in here. How did that happen? What the heck? I don't think there was a door open anywhere. That's so weird. Oh, I guess in here the windows are open a little bit. Oh, and it stopped raining. That's lovely. It would have been a little bit sad to end this in a rainstorm, but I think that this is pretty much wrapped up for today. I am going to dig down to the skeleton spawner in the next episode, I think. But for today, I think this is some great progress. I'm glad that we've made a home for these guys, even though they just appeared in between episodes. But yeah, I think that that is all of the time that I have for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.